Are you a millennial? Are you the oldest Gen Zer? Did you have access to the World Wide Web and have a weird fixation with really odd chat room avatar based games? Then you might remember Zwinky, but if you haven't, don't worry, let me explain. So you either want a big head or a small head. No. So let me actually explain this. So it all started in 2006. It was created by IAC, which is also known by Interactive Corporation. You couldn't escape these ads, honestly. They were everywhere. It honestly looked like scam ads that you would see on every webpage that you ever came across. I'm not sure how any of these ads worked, but it did. I played Zwinky much later. So in my personal experience, I saw a lot more of the weirdly sexual IMVU ads everywhere. A lot of people played Zwinky. It was one of the more popular ones and the more approachable ones because, for example, IMVU was weirdly sexual in its ads and it honestly looked like boink sites. Is that what I can say? Can I say that? Sites that you would go to roleplay boinking with other avatars. That's what IMVU looked like. So I can see why more people were inclined to play Zwinky rather than an avatar-based game like IMVU. A lot of people liked Zwinky. So many people liked it and loved to look like this. This was peak. You wouldn't understand, but this was it. So Zwinky went from its launch in 2006 to its closure in 2016. And it remained open until 2019, but it was just like the main page redirecting you to the company's other ongoing games that they were working on. So there's two versions of this. Zwinky, the regular legacy version of like Zwinktopia, the Zwinktopia experience. And there's the kids version for only kids called Zwinky Cuties. First, we'll talk about the OG Zwinky. So let me try to get an image in your head. The best way I can visualize it is like this. Close your eyes. Imagine IMVU characters. Okay, now flatten them. And also remove all the animations. Okay, and now imagine them in the most awkward positioning. Perfect. So, how does it look? Horrible? Yeah, not far off because it was ugly. So, are you interested in starting your Zwinktopia journey? Let's go through the process here. Turn on your computer, okay? You're gonna start connecting to the internet, so you better smack up that dial-up. Open your Internet Explorer and go to zwinky.com. Smack that sign up button on the top right, okay? And then you'll be greeted with two options. I know when I played it, there was 4 options. You could be the 2 normal looking kind of human avatars, or you could have these big head ugly ones. So you got an array of options in front of you that are all astounding, of course. Then you get to design your character, decorate it how you like, make it look like you or make it look like God knows what. You can even smack that surprise me button and see what it gives you. Probably only the best outcome. So after you finish picking out your hair, face clothing, other items, you're ready to hit that next button. Then you're met with the usual creating the coolest username ever that you will use for the rest of your life and inputting all the information that they will forever hold and probably sell or have hacked away from you. So you hit join now, and now you're in Zwinktopia, which I know what you're gonna say. This just looks like MySpace. And yes, because MySpace was the epitome of socials. There was like others like Friendster, Beba, I think it's called. I don't know. There were so many that were just trying to copy what MySpace had because MySpace was peak. It was. And as we kind of go through all these chat rooms, there's a lot of them because there's so many I want to talk about. I played a lot of them. I'm just being honest. There's going to be a lot of more videos about chat room games because I played so many. They all try to capture the beauty of MySpace within them because it had everything. It was so good. So now, welcome to Zwinky. So you had your news section called Zwink, which I get it, ink, Zwinky. Oh my god, they're so funny. And then you had a badge section. I remember IMVU having that as well. Mies didn't have a badge section. I don't remember one. And if it did, I did not participate. And then you could also get daily items, things to kind of incentivize you to keep coming back into Zwinky. Let's go through the tabs. I'm going to give you the most amount of information that you will probably forget right after this video. So it's going to go in one ear, out the other, but I do not care. I'm going to try my best. So you have the home page. So what we're looking at right now is the main dashboard, of course. Then you have shopping. You can buy the coolest outfits that you will ever see from 2006 to 2016. 2008 to 2010 was the peak of Zwinky. That's when a lot of people were on this game. That's when it was at its height. And that's where a lot of the biggest looks were coming out for Zwinky. The outfits did not change much from then to 2016. They did not update a lot of things as the years went on. It is really funny to look at because you are given this character model that you don't have much to work with on because it may not be your body type, so it's not really reflecting you per se. So you're kind of dressing up a doll instead of what you would usually try to do with these online games and try as to reflect you. So you were kind of just left with this template. It's either this or the weird, oh god, I don't want to even think about the other character model. But just these options, right? And you can change like the skin color, hair, and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. But you're only given like this. And I get it. Like Star Doll was very popular. I remember everyone playing Star Doll. I get it. But you didn't get a lot of options. And I can see why player count started to dwindle over time. Why do they have their hands opened? And why are they in this position exactly? I mean, I could see it working for some people because of like the similarities between this and Star Doll and how it's just a very flat 2D model. I can see why people would have a fondness for this game. Next tab over is Zwinktopia, but let's just save that for a second and move over quickly to wardrobe. I just want to go through these tabs first because Zwinktopia is like the bread and butter here, right? Your wardrobe is your inventory. Edit your character here. Switch stuff out for stuff that you get in the shopping center or that you win through your daily logins or clothes that you design in the design studio, which is the next tab. So if you have the in-game currency Z cards or the Z bucks, whatever they're called, you can design your own clothing items. Truly just changing the colors, the fabric, which is just texture, and then adding in small details on these items like jewels or like patterns or like just small little dots or whatever, right? It is nice to be able to change the color of an item to whatever you want because in my experience, I love Final Fantasy 14 and I love dressing up my character whenever I want and buying those dyes and switching the colors of everything. So I can see why that would work for some people. I do wish that it didn't cost money to do that though, because it's just changing the color. I feel like it's not that drastic unless there's someone walking around in your guild wearing neon yellow looking like piss. I don't see any problems with allowing players of your game to just change colors of whatever, right? But that's a topic for another time. Next tab is games, also straightforward. These are mini games. It's not as many mini games, but you can win in-game currency playing these games, which you can also use this currency in the shopping tab, which you can see your recently purchased items in your wardrobe, or you can spend the money in your design studio and then go back to your wardrobe, put that on. So you can see that they kind of built an ecosystem within their website to keep you there, because not only do they make money by selling you in-game currency directly, but they also make money by having ads displayed throughout their site. So like on the right side, left side, and then they would also have advertising within the server rooms that you're chatting in. So like in the mall, you would have Rockaware, you would have items that reflect the brand Domo. You would see a lot of Domo during this time. That was everywhere. You could not escape Domo. So there was like a reason to keep you in this ecosystem system because they're generating money through you directly and indirectly. Get what I'm saying, right? Okay. So now let's look at the meat of this site, right? Zwinktopia. This is where it all goes down. So you can choose a server here with people in it. You would see like how many people are in each one, if it's full or if it's like low. You know how servers work. You play video games. Of course, you see this page before. So you kind of load in and you start chatting to whoever approaches you or yells at you through caps. So this is before Discord. So all of that drama and chaoticness was there. There was no Discord kittens. There were Zwinky Cuties. This is where you would e-date like a total stranger. This is where you would be part of random cliques that exist within this online universe. This is where you will get scammed, bullied, face traumatic events while having the cutest avatar doll thing. And this is where you would make best friends and even lasting relationships. It was really everything here. This was the place to be if you were in the nerdy, just want to chat with a total stranger kind of world. This was the place to be, because I imagine a normal teenager in 2008 being like, what are you talking about? Zwinky? No, dude, I'm outside. But you had to be in it to kind of get with it. You know what I mean? I mean, kids during this time were either hanging out at the mall or hanging out on the Zwinky mall. So you had the regular rooms that were created by Zwinky themselves. So these would be like the park, which was, when I was playing it, the park was the hotspot. And then there was also the mall, which was also very popular. So there was like other areas similar to that. And then you also had your personal rooms, which I don't know if you watched my previous video on Mies, but anything to do with personal rooms and a game that caters to children, teens, and adults at the same time, not the best outcomes. I will say that. Insert image of problematic occurrence. So as we kind of venture forth going through all of these chat room games, just know that there's going to be a reoccurring theme of teens and adults having not the best interactions on an online space that was unregulated, unmonitored, no moderation, no safety nets. This was a time when they were like, oh, the internet, let me just throw everything here. Oh, this is the internet? I don't know what that is really, but I think I should give you all my personal information, tell this stranger everything in my personal life and where I live, also my social security number. Zwinky truly had everything that you could want from an online game, where it had grooming, hacking, cheating in mini games just to get in-game currency, because of course, if your system relies on materialism and wealth, people will find ways to exploit it so they can be part of that higher class within this system. Also, it had the ugliest characters, so of course people were drawn to it. So let's kind of quickly talk about Zwinky Cuties. Now, imagine Zwinky, but now you're extra ugly. You have a melon head that's also big, and you're a child, so you're ugly and a child. So you're an ugly child. So honestly, Zwinky Cuties looked a lot more polished and reminded me of Webkins, which was awesome. Webkins was the best. Do not get me started on Webkins because it was the best time of my life. It had like the solid colors and that kind of solid shading. I really love that. I love that so much. And the UX, the UI, what is these terms? It was just, anyways, the front facing design looked like Webkins to me, and I loved it. A lot of games during this time had that look, and I don't know how to pin it. There must be a term or a genre or subgenre of what this is, this art style of these games during this time, but it was really nice, and it just does something to my brain where I'm like, yeah, I love this. And the minigame section was a lot bigger. There's a lot more stuff to do. I don't remember chatting with anyone on Zwinky Cuties Cuties, I feel like I was just playing the mini games, but I was a child, so that makes sense. I mean, just put an iPad in front of me and I'm just playing the mini games. I'm not chatting with people. Was it even a function? I don't remember that. I don't remember doing that. I just remember playing the mini games and dressing up my character. And in my personal opinion, I feel like Zwinky, the original legacy version, had all of the issues. It was the issue haver. But if you had a different experience with Zwinky Cuties, please let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear it. So why did Zwinky shut down? I found this article by Wealthy Byte. I don't know if this is like a legit journalistic piece. It talks about how there was a toolbar called My Web Search, which hacked Zwinky in 2016, which hacked its users, which spread malware to all of its users, which obviously resulted in a bad time for everyone, and various virus attacks, which became hard to manage. And it just got to a point where they just said, forget it, and just shut it down. But there's also another reason that they mention being poor management, which is weirdly written because it also just ties into the first one where they couldn't manage the hacking from this toolbar. But they also mention an interesting point here where users of the game wanted improvements, where they wanted updates, things changed or just adjusted, like having more options for maybe just the models themselves that you play as, or assets for the clothing, or even accessories. So it was just not keeping up with the user base, the trends. So users started to slowly start dwindling over time, and they just weren't generating enough income. So it just came to a point that they just closed the doors. It seems searching through Google, kind of looking through and many posts, many other articles, they all kind of say the same thing around Zwinky. That it came down to poor management, and the hacking was a bit too much and they just couldn't handle it. Maybe it was a small team. I don't know. There's not a lot of information left on IAC. They had other projects going on during this time too, so maybe they just thought the newer projects were a better investment. So there's various reasons why it closed down. I can see why people had such fondness and love for this game if they had such a good experience with it, and there's probably a lot of nostalgia kind of thinking about what this game could have been if it just stayed on, if it just kept going on and they actually kept up with the updates and did a lot more work for the game itself and bringing more newer assets into the game just to keep things going. But who knows? So I'm just gonna ramble here for a second. I'm sitting here thinking about today, the difference between kids now and then, because Zwinky was around, well, a lot of these online chat room games were around from 2006 to 2016. And these were times where kids would feel more inclined to also hang out at the malls or go to the library or the park or to a friend's house just to hang out, where things were a lot more accessible, so they had the choice of both options. There was also kids during this time that didn't even touch a computer till like 2010, right? Now it feels like they don't have as much of an accessibility to hang out at a park because it's underfunded. They have like one play thing, or it's just not clean, or they go to the library and there's no place for the kids to hang out. There's no play area. So why would they go to the library to hang out? Or the malls are dying. Malls aren't a place to hang out anymore. There's no space really where a kid can feel that they can just go there to be a kid, right? It feels like those options are being kind of taken away and they're only left with the internet. They're only left with Discord, Fortnite, COD, Xbox Live, or whatever. So a lot of these kids don't have the same spaces. How many kids can afford to do an after school activity? I'm just gonna put this kind of dialogue in your head and leave you with it. And sorry if that made you sad, but please let me know your personal experiences with Zwinky or my beautiful thought experiment that will not make you sad. And also leave a like and subscribe subscribe for more stuff. I would love for you to stick around and go on this journey of chat room games from your past or games you've never heard of. Thank you. Bye. Okay, that's it. Bye.